From Caterpillars to Butterflies, Episode 8, Expand Your Vision to Expand Your Life.
Welcome to the From Caterpillars to Butterflies Personal Growth Podcast. Just like the caterpillar is destined to become a butterfly, you too are designed for a beautiful transformation. This is where you go to grow and transform your life. And now, here's your host, Certified Life Coach, Charlene Dior.
Hey, this is Charlene, your host, and today we're talking about vision. We're talking about how you can expand your vision in order to expand your life. The Bible says that you have not because you ask not, and I believe that you ask not because you see not. You cannot achieve what you cannot see. A lot of New Thought type teachers teach that everything is created twice. It is created once in your mind and then once in reality. So you cannot create what you cannot conceive in your own mind. So if your life is uninspiring, if it hasn't taken you to where you want it to be at this point, it is probably because you have had a limited vision. And so I want to talk about how you can expand that vision and then watch your life follow. Oprah Winfrey is quoted as saying, "Create the highest, grandest vision possible for your life because you become what you believe." You have to have a big vision for your life in order to live up to your highest potential. So how do you expand your vision? I want to give you a few ways to do that. The first way that you can expand your vision is to up-level your day-to-day routines. So we as people are creatures of habits. So we tend to do the same thing the same way all the time. We take the same route to work unless there's an accident or something and we have to take a new route. We tend to eat at the same restaurant, shop at the same stores, go to the same places for fun and recreation. And that routine, that sameness, keeps your vision small. So when you want to start to expand your vision of what's possible for your life, you want to look at some of the day-to-day things that you do that are on autopilot. So I tell people to make a list of the things that you do day in and day out. Here's where I eat at. Here's what I buy. Here's where I shop at. When I go on vacation, I usually go here. When I'm going to hang out with my girlfriends or my guy friends, I usually do it here. I usually take my wife out here for these places. I usually get my hair done like this, or I don't get my hair done at all. Like me. Like these are the things that I do every day. I get coffee at this coffee shop. You take all the recurring things that you do, the things that you buy, the places that you shop, the things that you do, the places that you go on a regular day-to-day basis. And you think, how can I up-level this? So if you usually stop at a fast food restaurant on your way home from work because you don't feel like cooking and it costs you like $7 for a meal, if you wanted to up-level that, then you would go to a more upscale takeout restaurant, right? Maybe it costs you $20 for a meal. If you normally take time off from work and you have a staycation, right? Like every year for Christmas, I take off the last 2 weeks, but I just do a staycation. Well, you want to up-level that by going somewhere. Maybe it's not an international trip. Maybe it's just to the next town over or the next state over, but you're up-leveling what you normally do. So you're going to think through all the things that you do habitually on autopilot and think, how can I up-level this experience? Because when you're so caught up in what you always do and you're on autopilot, you stop thinking about it. You stop thinking about where you're going to stop for dinner and your car just automatically takes you there and you end up there somehow, right? So you've stopped thinking. Well, that's not key for visioning, right? Visioning requires you to think and to see and to believe. So being on autopilot is keeping your vision small. So this exercise will help you get some of your day-to-day routines off of autopilot, if at least for a moment, for a time, and help you to think a little bit bigger and up-level that experience. The other thing that I want to tell you about expanding your vision is to set long-term goals. So a lot of times people set, New Year's resolutions. Some people don't even do that. But a lot of times our goals are short range. We're thinking, this is what I want to achieve in the next year, or this is what I want to achieve for the next 6 months, which is great. You need short-term goals, but you also need long-term goals. So when you're sitting around and you're creating your New Year's resolutions, I want you to also think, okay, so where do I want to be 3 years from now? So we're going into 2017. It'll be 2017 when this episode airs. So you're creating your goals for 2017. And then also, when you think about all that you want to accomplish, the money that you want to make, the weight that you want to lose, the experiences that you want to gain, then think ahead 3 years. So now it's 2020. What do you want? What do you want to achieve in 2022? And then in 10 years, 2027. Create long-term goals for yourself. Put them on paper. Write them down. A lot of people teach, I can't remember where I've learned this. I want to say it was Brian Tracy, but I can't recall. Journaling on where you want to be in 5 years, but journaling on it in the present tense. So it's 5 years from now and I live in this house and I'm married to this man and we have these kids. So that's a great exercise for you to journal about where you are in 5 years in the present tense. Because a lot of people, again, don't have long-term goals. They have short-term goals. And we tend to overestimate what we can do in a year, which leaves us discouraged. And we tend to underestimate what we can achieve in 5 years, which leaves us stuck because we don't realize that we could really have a whole new life 5 years from now. I used to date a guy in college and he was a bum. And I was in college and he wasn't. He was being a bum. And I used to tell him, like, look, in 5 years, if you do something different today, in 5 years, you'll be somewhere else. But if you keep doing what you're doing, in 5 years, you'll be right where you are. And I have been out of college for 8 years now. And that guy that I dated actually came to visit me in Houston. Was it last year? And look, he's right where he was before. I mean, he's doing nothing. He's living with some girl, which is what he used to do to me, come to my house and never leave for weeks on end. And he's really literally right where he's at. Whereas my life has grown. I've traveled the world. I've bought multiple houses, not to brag, but just to say that we underestimate what 5 years can do for us. And it can really do a lot. And I almost feel full of gratitude and just wonder, just thinking about that. I have been out of college for 8 years and I have literally traveled the world from Asia to South America to Europe. And I literally own multiple houses and I've owned them for 3 years. So 5 years out of college, I was a real estate investor owning multiple houses. And it's so true. What you can do in 5 years is bigger than what you can do in 1 year. So when you want to expand your vision, you want to think beyond just the next 12 months. And I teach people in my Transform Your Year program to ladder your goals back up. So if you're thinking, I want to buy a house in 3 years, then, you need to be doing some things in the 1 year mark to be able to buy the house in the 3 year mark. You need to start saving your money. You need to start getting your credit together, and then if you have a goal for the 5 year mark, okay, I want to be a best-selling author in 5 years. Well, there's things you need to do right now today. So you want to make sure that your short-term goals actually ladder back up to your long-term goals. And I'll tell you how I got started in real estate investing. I thought at the time real estate investing was my 5 year plan. And I wanted to be ready, right? I didn't want to say, in 5 years, I want to start investing in real estate. And then I had no knowledge and no money. So I said, if I wanted to be investing in 5 years, I need to get my knowledge and my money together now. I need to start working on that now so that I'm ready in 5 years. I'm not learning in 5 years. I'm ready in 5 years. But you know what? When you start learning and you start getting your knowledge together and you start taking action, then sometimes it goes faster than you thought. Bought my first rental house in 5 months. My 5 year plan turned into my 5 month plan because I was trying to be prepared for the 5 year mark. And I didn't realize it was doable at that time. So that's another reason why you really want to think about where you want to be in the future, because when you start to do the things today to get you to where you want to be in the future, it might go faster than what you really thought it was going to happen. Okay, so set long range goals. Don't just have 1 year range goals. Have a 3 year goal, have a 5 year goal, have a 10 year goal. Write them down, journal on them in the present tense, and make sure that they all ladder back up to each other. The third thing that you can do to expand your vision is to expose yourself to new things. So purposefully try out new things. Again, we tend to be creatures of habits. I am a nonfiction reader. I don't read a lot of fiction. I love to read self-help books. But it's also good to switch it up sometimes and to read fiction just to expand my vision. And research shows that people who read fiction are more sociable and they get along with people better and just more accepting. So there's benefits to doing something new, but expose yourself to new things. Watch new TV shows or go to new plays or take a class in something that's interesting to you. You expand your vision by exposing yourself to new things and exposing yourself to new people. So I spent nearly a decade in corporate America, and that experience transforms my vision of what is possible. The first time I ate at an upscale restaurant was in corporate America. It was because a vendor came to town and took us to a nice upscale restaurant. It was so upscale that they didn't even give you to-go bags. And I really wanted to take my fish home with me. It was delicious, but I was just too embarrassed to ask for a to-go bag. It was upscale, and I had never eaten at those kind of restaurants. But now I can treat myself to those restaurants because now I realize I enjoy that upscale experience. I can't do it all the time, but it has opened up my eyes that there are some people who live different ways than me. So you want to make sure that you're exposing yourself to new ideas and to new people and to new environments. That's why I love to travel. I love to travel because it exposes you to new things. So that is number 3. Number 4 is to watch your emotions. Okay. Several years ago, my mom bought a new car. She bought a BMW, and her sister-in-law was jealous of the car. Someone getting a more fancier or upscale car or house or whatever than you isn't a cause for you to be jealous. It's a cause for you to pay attention, because the sister-in-law didn't have a BMW because she never wanted one, because her vision wasn't there. So when someone else has something that's starting to make you feel envious and jealous, that's your cue that maybe your vision is too small. It's not your cue to be jealous and envious and, smack your teeth and roll your eyes, right? It's your cue to say, have I been thinking too small about what's possible for me? So pay attention to your emotions, particularly those emotions around envy and jealousy, because it can show you areas in your life where you haven't been thinking big enough. And we tend to project those feelings onto other people, but they're not about other people. They're about ourselves. You haven't been thinking big enough. And that's okay, because now you know, and you can expand your vision, and then you can watch your life expand. So pay attention to your emotions. The 5th thing that I want to share with you on how to expand your vision is to bring your vision to life. I love looking at houses that I cannot afford. And I love it so much in my area because they leave the doors unlocked. So there's nobody in the house, and I don't have to pretend like I can afford this house. I can just walk in and not be embarrassed. But I like to look at houses that I can't afford. And oh my gosh, when I'm driving through a neighborhood that is my vision, and when I'm walking into a house that is my envision, I can feel it inside of me. It really stirs up something like physically inside of me. I feel the emotions, and I feel it in my heart and my soul. It starts to twinkle, y'all. And I love it. I love to go look at houses I cannot afford. And it's one thing, to print a house out of a magazine and put it on a vision board, which is great. I have vision boards too. But I don't know where this house is at. I don't know what state or city it's at. I don't know anything about this house other than it's cute. But I can take you exactly to the neighborhood that I would love to live in. And I could walk in the door and I can pretend that it's mine. I could see myself living there and being there because I am there. I'm literally walking through the door and I could see me walking through it as my door. I could see me sitting in the office and looking outside. Oh, this is where I would do my work. This is where I would record my podcast. Bring the vision to life. It stirs up something in you. And you just cannot help but to keep moving towards it. Houses might not be your thing. Cars might be your thing. Go test drive cars. Go to car shows. Traveling might be your thing. You might really want to travel the world, and that's your vision, and you can't do it today, but you can bring the experience into your life today. You can have a Jamaica themed party at your house, dinner party. If you always wanted to go to Jamaica, right? You can have an Asia themed party at your house. You can do things to bring the vision into your life right now, if only for a moment, but make the vision real, bring it into your life. And the last tip that I have for you on expanding your vision to expand your life is to double your vision. We tend to think small. I said earlier, we underestimate what we can do in 5 years. We have small vision. And even when someone tells you to think about the greatest thing that could happen to you, your biggest vision, we still tend to stifle it. We still tend to filter it through our minds and our doubts and our disbeliefs before we share it. You want to double your vision so that you know that you're not playing small, so that you know that you're going after the biggest thing possible. So if you're saying, I want to live in that $1 million house, maybe you want to now live in a $2 million house. You say, my vision is to go on a vacation every year. Maybe now your vision is to go on 2 vacations every year. So you want to double your vision to make sure that you are really creating the grandest. Oprah Winfrey said, create the grandest, highest vision for your life. So you want to double it to make sure that you're not playing small. And I always tell people, you can't double your husbands or your wives. It's illegal. And you might not want to double your kids because it will just be crazy. But double what you're asking for from life. Double it. So I want to end with one of my favorite Bible verses. Now, I know this is not a Christian podcast. I'm a Christian, so I tend to talk about Christian things sometimes. But I invite you to be open. I said earlier that you need to expose yourself to new things. And so I don't want you to shut down now because you're thinking, oh, well, it's Christian. I'm going to just shut off now. I want you to be open to exposing yourself to something new, because what I'm going to share with you really isn't Christian in nature. It is derived from the Bible, but it's really applicable to everybody from every situation. Okay? So be open to being exposed to something new. My favorite Bible verse is Habakkuk 2:3. It says, the vision is for the appointed time. And I'm going to break this down for you. The vision, the first 2 words, are so powerful when you're thinking about your vision. The vision. Powerful words because it could say a vision, but it doesn't. It says the vision. And so what's the difference between a and the? If I said a car has 4 wheels, that has a different meaning than the car has 4 wheels. A car, it is a hypothetical car. It could or it could not exist. I don't know where the car's at. But the car is a real, specific, tangible car. So the vision that you have, it's not hypothetical. It is real and it is specific. The vision that you have. Because sometimes we have a vision and then we start to question ourselves. We think, what was I thinking? Who am I to have that vision? That's weird. It's out of my range. But the vision tells you that you don't have to question or doubt your vision because it's not a hypothetical vision. It is a real physical vision. The vision is for the appointed time. So there is a specific time that this vision is called to come into creation and manifestation. The vision is for the appointed time. It speaks to the end. This is important because a lot of times when we create the vision, when we get a glimpse of the vision of what we want our lives to be, we want it to come to fruition right away. And we get discouraged and we beat ourselves up because we have this vision and we don't have it in our lives. But the ideation of the vision is the beginning of the journey. The moment that you think up the vision, when you've expanded your vision, you're at the beginning of the journey. But the vision, the manifestation of the vision, speaks to the end. So you have to be prepared to go this journey in order to accomplish what you want to accomplish. And so there's no need to get discouraged when you're still at the beginning. You have to acknowledge and know where you're at. The vision is at the end of the journey and you're at the beginning. Understand that so that you don't get discouraged. It's at the end, and it's not the end of your life. It's the end of the journey, because you're on a journey to accomplish the vision. And when you get there, you should start a new journey. You better start a new journey and not just settle there. So you're on a journey, and your vision, the manifestation of the vision, is at the end. You are right now at the beginning. And so you have to know that you have to take a walk to get to where you want to go, and be prepared for that. So it speaks to the end, not the beginning. And it shall not lie. I did a podcast recently about purpose. And I said, your purpose isn't misleading you. It wants you as much as you want it. And the same could be said for your vision, because, your vision is a part of your purpose, or else you probably wouldn't be envisioning it, right? So your vision is not misleading you. It wants you as much as you want it. It's not lying to you. It's truthful and it's accurately, and it's pulling you along. As long as you're willing to walk the journey, the vision is pulling you, and it will not lie to you. Though it tarries. That word tarries means delays. So though the vision delays, notice it doesn't say if. It's not if the vision delays. When the vision delays, because it's going to delay. There are going to be roadblocks and setbacks. There are going to be times where it feels like nothing's happening. Even though you're taking action, you're moving, it feels like nothing's happening. It's going to happen. Don't expect it not to happen. There will be delays. And when there is a delay, though it tarries, wait for it. Your only responsibility is to wait. It doesn't say to give up. It doesn't say to go create another vision. You just have to wait. And I see this all the time. When people have a vision that is not happening on their timetables, they give up on the vision. I see it with business owners all the time. One minute I'm a coach, the next minute I'm doing some economy share thing, and then the next minute I'm like speaking. It's all over the place. Why? Because you weren't prepared for the delay, and now you think that you got the wrong vision. But your only responsibility, not if it delays, but when it delays, is to wait. Wait for it. For it will certainly come. Not maybe, not should be, not could be. It will certainly come, and it will not be late. I love that verse. The verse before it, 2:2, says, make the vision plain, write it on the tablet so that who reads it can run with it. Make your vision plain, write it down so that you can read it and run with it. And sometimes that is my prayer to God. Sometimes my prayer is, God, make this vision plain so I can run with it. So those are key ways that you can expand your vision and expand your life and really create the highest, grandest possible embodiment of life that you can. And I hope that you take that with you and you take these lessons with you and you implement them where possible so that you can really have a very big life.
Thanks for listening to the From Caterpillars to Butterflies podcast, your one-stop shop for all things personal growth. For today's show notes and even more tools and resources to help you transform the life you have into the life you love, go to www.fromcaterpillarstobutterflies.com.